Hey everyone, it's Anna, or Teacher Sensata, and in today's video I'm going to talk about mental illness and mental disorders. So I hesitated a lot before I decided to make this video because it's such a tough subject for me to talk about because I personally struggle with mental illness, but I decided that maybe if I talked about it, it could help other people that also struggle with it. So here I am. First off, I'm going to start talking about the mental disorders in general, and then I'm going to share with you guys the mental disorders that I deal with and struggle with. I won't be able to mention all of them, but I'll definitely mention the most common ones. So starting off with the most common ones, we have generalized anxiety disorder and social anxiety disorder. When you have generalized anxiety, it kind of means that it's not only social interactions that make you anxious, but it's kind of everything. You just overthink things so much that it kills you inside. It's like a demon dancing inside your body. It's really horrible. And social anxiety would be more connected to being anxious about social interactions, when you have to talk to people or when you have to meet people, or even like if you have a crush on somebody and you know that you're gonna see them, you start having these really bad anxiety attacks, and that would be social anxiety disorder. The next one is depression, which is really common not only among Brazilians but people in the whole world. We have also OCD, which means obsessive compulsive disorder, and it basically just means that you are obsessively compulsive for doing something. It can be organization, cleaning, or counting, or something that always has to be in a certain manner or way. You're just obsessively compulsed over it. The next one is ADHD, and I'm gonna have to read this one because it's a little long. It's attention deficit hyperactive disorder. So basically it's when you have a really hard time concentrating, and also when you're all over the place, you're really energetic and you can't sit still at times, but it goes way more than that, of course. The next one we have is PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. This is basically when a stressful event in your life becomes a traumatic experience that you can never get over. There's also bipolar disorder, eating disorders, ASD, which is autism spectrum, schizophrenia, and psychotic disorder. So now I'm going to share a little bit about my struggles and how I've been dealing with it, or with them, and how has it been for me. The two mental illnesses and disorders that I deal with are anxiety and OCD. During all my life, I've always seen myself as a really positive and happy person. I was normally described as someone who lived in the moon world, as we say in Português, because even if everything was falling apart and chaotic, I would be peaceful, zen, in my own unicorn and rainbow world, and nothing would really get to me. But I feel like as I've gotten older, people started criticizing this state that I would be in so much, like this mundo da lua state, that I started feeling bad and a little like guilty for being in this state. So I stopped not caring and I started caring. That's where everything started, and everything started to get really bad. And I never would describe myself as an anxious person until a few years ago, when certain events happened in my life that unfortunately caused these emotions and these feelings and thoughts to start coming to me in a way that was very unhealthy and self-destructive. But OCD is something that now looking back I've dealt with since I was a child. I just didn't know what to call it, but I'll give you guys some examples of things that I faced and did that today I recognize as being OCD. I would have these patterns that I needed to follow. For example, if I was walking down the street, I could never step on a line, or else I would think, oh my gosh, someone in my family is gonna die. Or I would, for example, time things, and if I didn't finish in the certain time that I put myself out to do, I would think that someone would die, someone that I love, like my parents or my friends would die. So I would be obsessed by like putting things in a certain order or stacking things in a certain way, and if I wasn't able to, I would feel like, oh my gosh, something bad is gonna happen. And that is something that I have with me since I was a child. One of my biggest fears in general, like in all my life, has always been rejection. And this has recently gotten me really bad anxiety because I overthink everything, and like the slightest possible chance that I might get rejected in any situation, like friendships or a relationship or professionally or even academically, makes me majorly anxious, and I feel like the world's gonna end. Like, I'm not worthy of love, I'm not even worthy of existing, and that I don't deserve to be here. Like, everything is like falling apart, is being teared down, and there's no hope for me. In the last few year, or like in the last year and months, I feel like I've been facing a lot of situations where I feel rejected, and I have been feeling rejected. So this just gets my anxiety so high, and to a point where I can't eat, I can't go out, I don't feel like going out, I feel like just staying home and like curling up in a ball and just crying. I feel like I've been crying more than like I have throughout many years of my life in just a month, you know. So I don't feel I have a social anxiety disorder because I like social events and, you know, things where I have to meet people and talk to people because I love meeting with people so much. But I think it's really generalized to a point where I overthink things and everything can go wrong, and it gets me sick to my stomach, and I just want to cry, and I don't want to talk to anybody. I feel like nobody understands. And you know, it feels so awkward that I'm going through this because I've always been such like a positive person and happy child growing up. So now when I have these feelings, I judge myself because I'm like, you're not like this. What's going on with you? Why are you acting like this? And it just tears me apart. It makes me feel like trash. And I'm still learning how to deal with it. I'm already doing therapy. I have a really good psychologist, but it's just a process that I know I can't run away from, and I have to face it and get over it, or maybe just get better. I don't know if I'll ever get over it. But hey, even though I struggle with these mental illnesses and I have a hard time living with them, I always find hope in my Savior Jesus Christ, because even when I think, especially when I think that no one can understand me and what I'm feeling, He always does. And He always makes me feel loved and enough and worthy to be on this earth. So I feel like if I was to wait for someone's approval, I would never be happy. But since I know I don't depend on everyone's approval, and I just depend on God's approval, I have hope and strength to move forward and to not give up on everything. If you're going through any mental disorders right now in your life, I send my love to you, and please know that you can feel free and super comfortable to talk to me about it. We can share our experiences and help each other, and just know that if you don't feel like you belong anywhere, you belong here with me. Thanks for watching, and please know that you're not alone through your mental disorders, and the main person that is with you is the one that matters most. That is Jesus Christ. Have a happy Sunday. Bye guys!